Hey guys, so today we've got the Audi Q6 e-tron. It's Audi's latest EV model here in Singapore, and we're gonna take a closer look at it. Today's episode is brought to you by Sgcarmart Smart Loan. Sgcarmart Smart Loan is designed to save you time and money through a digitalized loan application via MyInfo for your used car purchase at below market interest rates. For a limited time only, get $500 cash back and a 6-month Kinto membership worth $1,200 when you apply for a loan today. To find out how much money you'll save when you buy a used personal or private hire car, click on the link in the description below. Now, back to the review. Starting at the front of the car, you have of course the iconic Audi single frame grille, and this, luckily, it comes in the body painted color as you see here, because if I remember correctly, on the Audi Q4, it had like this metallic finish to it, and it kind of made it look like those rolling shutters that shopkeepers used to, you know, when they close shop for the day. I'm more in favor of this where it's body colored, so it kind of hides that. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this pattern, but what I am a fan of is these new headlights. They have a jewel-like quality to them, and the cool thing is you can get into the MMI system and you can actually choose from one of 8 different daytime running light signatures. Other things to note include the fact that the 4 rings that you see here, they've now taken this very like flat quality. They're no longer like chrome finish. Like, it seems to be a trend these days, but to me it kind of, I don't know, I guess I miss the older logo where, you know, it came in chrome and it lent the car like that. Yeah, it's an upmarket car, but it's those little things that lend the car that more upmarket vibe that, you know, buyers would be looking for. Typical Audis are known for their understated design, but if you look closely, look at these shoulder lines here and over here. If I'm not wrong, they're reminiscent of the Quattro model, so I'm just gonna refer to them as like Quattro lines or Quattro accents. They're there, although in this shade, yeah, they're a little bit more subdued. Another subtle thing is this. If you go in close here, you'll find that the model name is etched into the B pillar, and another subtle hint at e-tron, once again to denote that this is in fact an EV. Other cool things to note, well, as standard, the car comes with 19-inch wheels. And if you're the type who prefers a more comfortable ride, well, you'll be glad to know that it comes with rather thick tires. These are 60 series tires. So that much rubber, you kind of know that it'll be a pliant ride for you. Now, let's take a look at what the rear has to offer. The Audi Q6 e-tron is priced at $357,999. The electric motor produces 248 brake horsepower and 450 Nm of torque. The single-speed transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km/h in 7.6 seconds. The 83 kWh battery has a 464 km drive range with a maximum DC fast charging rate of 225 kilowatts. For more details on the Audi Q6 e-tron or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car. Over at the rear, what I find cool is this full-width taillight. Inside, there are 360 digital OLED segments. And if you unlock the car using the key fob, you get a little light show like this. I think that's a nice and once again very Audi. It's a subtle way of like welcoming the owner back to the car. Let's have a look at how practical the car is. Inside, you have a 526-liter boot, and if you were to fold down the rear seats, this expands to about 1,529 liters if I'm not wrong. So as you can see, our large luggage and the anti-trolley, they fit lengthwise, no issue. Now let's have a look at the back seat. Here in the back seat, you've got about this much headroom, this much leg room. I'm 1.73 meters tall, so roughly from there you can gauge for yourself whether it will be suitable for you or for your family members. There are rear aircon vents here. There's a third climate zone as well. However, unlike the front seats, which have ventilation and heating, all you get in here is heating. The seats themselves, they have a nice, supportive, firm feel to them. So I would imagine on a road trip, this would be quite comfortable for the long haul. Typically, you don't want seats to be too plush when you've got to go on long journeys. And the reason for that is you need support. If something is just too soft, you're just gonna sink in, and it might feel comfortable for maybe the first hour or so, but eventually you end up with aches and pains. And over here you have an armrest with two integrated cup holders. Right, I'm gonna try out the middle seat. I think this is better for 2 rather than 3 people, because as the middle occupant, you gotta sit with your feet apart like this. While the floor is mostly flat, there's still a little bit of a protrusion, and for the seat itself, well, there's a little bit of a hump as well. So I feel like I'm sitting higher than the 2 like outer occupants if there were. So I think it would be better for 2 instead of 3, unless the middle occupant is quite cool with just being here for the duration of the car ride, however long or short that may be. That's it for the rear. Let's move on to the front. In the cockpit of the Q6, you have what Audi calls a digital stage. So basically this curved display that's angled towards the driver, this integrates both the 14.5-inch MMI, the infotainment, and the 11.9-inch virtual cockpit. New to Audi as well is this. Now the passenger gets a display, so they can play with the multimedia, they can help you with navigation, or they can like surf. If I'm not wrong, I think they can surf, they can make phone calls as well. So this part is also new. But for the driver anyway, the new MMI, I would say the first impression seemed like everything was like coming at me all at once, but actually when I take a look at it, everything is properly labeled. When I look at it a while more, I'm like, yeah, actually it's not so difficult. The learning curve isn't that steep. I'm told that now there's an app store, like an Audi app store, which lets you download apps like YouTube like straight into the system. So I would gather that you could be idling in the car, like relaxing in the car and watching YouTube videos. For instance, it's easy to use, and over here for the virtual cockpit, it's a lot simpler than the virtual cockpits of previous Audis I've test driven, but you do get the information you need quite at a glance. So you have your speed, you have your regen level readout, you have your range, your battery, and I would imagine as a driver, I don't really need to be inundated with that much information anyway. So I think this kind of takes care of it. Now, the one thing that I didn't really enjoy is the fact that rather than having true blue physical buttons, it seems like, I would like to say, it seems like there's now like haptic. So you have a lot of these like shiny black plastic buttons, which it will not take long. Within one drive, they can be completely full of smudges as well, especially the one for the panel here that controls like the door mirrors and to lock and unlock the car. Now it's also this shiny black thing, and same here, you got a shiny black trim. The drive select it used to be a button in older Audi models, but now it's also this shiny black thing. And yes, if you touch it and if you go into it, yes, you'll be leaving smudges everywhere. But that aside, what I do miss with the actual physical buttons is Audi owners will know this. the buttons, when you press them, they made this very nice, classy clicking noise, which to a certain extent, it's replicated in here. So when you tap on the icons, you hear that very familiar clicking sound. Again, for you Audi owners out there who've owned like previous models, the clicking sound is very distinct. It's very particular to Audi, and they've tried to recreate the sound. And even with these buttons, like when you press on them, it kind of replicates the sound. But I must say the tactility, it's just not what I would expect. I expected, you know, something that feels a bit more substantial, a bit more solid. But I mean, there you have it. I guess that's progress for you. Anyway, slide this open and you get two cup holders, and yes, it fits nicely. It also fits nicely in here. You have USB-C ports. This car does come with wireless CarPlay, but if you're someone like me, you prefer like a quicker charging, you know, there's a charging pad here and a little holder for your smartphone. But if you're like me, you prefer like having a cable, like faster charging, yes, you can plug in your phone and CarPlay will just start up like that. Now, another interesting thing is in here, you've got this storage space. Now, the cool thing about this is, like, let's say I've got my cable in here. I thought it was like just here, but actually it goes like, there's some depth to it. So like my hand is now like all the way in here. So basically under this, there's still a bit more space that you can utilize to put like loose items, like now my wallet's in there, my phone's in there, and so on and so forth. Other than that, without the sunroof, I believe this gives you more headroom. So in terms of the driving space itself, I find that yes, it's very driver focused. This is angled towards you. Windscreen quite steeply rigged, I guess, to give it a sporty vibe. But my lateral view, you know, my forward and lateral views are quite good. Let's take this thing for a spin. The Audi Q6 has a 185 kilowatt motor. That's about 248 brake horsepower and 450 Newton meters of torque. Now, the 0 to 100, that benchmark, it's about 7.6 seconds, which on the surface of it, if you were expecting something quicker, let me say, you don't need an EV to go that fast. I mean, if you were the type who was looking for performance anyway, this wouldn't be your first stop. So 7.6 seconds in an urban setting is actually more than enough. Like, the instantaneous nature of how an EV delivers its power, it's more than enough to propel you forward and, you know, move past all the meandering traffic and overtake road hogs and so on and so forth. And the cool thing about this car is, this is the rear-wheel drive version. If you've only driven front-wheel drive cars, you should try a rear-wheel drive car, because what happens is the propulsion, the push is coming from the back. So what this does is that when you go around corners, or you know, when the road turns a bit curvy, what happens is that the balance feels just that bit better, because the front wheels, which take care of your steering, they don't need to, you know, they don't need to channel power to the road. It's that kind of feeling that perhaps a BMW owner would be very familiar with. So Audi is known for, you know, Quattro, and yes, there is a Quattro version of this. So this version is the rear-wheel drive with an 83 kilowatt hour battery. That's quite a huge capacity. However, Audi says that you've only got about 430 kilometers of range. So I was driving the Q6 last night, and a colleague of mine also borrowed it to run some errands. So right at this moment, the battery gauge says there's 71%, and the range says, the range readout is 339 kilometers. So I was trying to do some calculation earlier. Based off 430 kilometers, if I have 339, 340, unless my maths are wrong, the battery gauge should be reading something like 80 something percent. So I'm not too sure why that is, but anyway, back to the point. For an 83 kilowatt hour battery, that's quite a sizable, like, chunky battery. So you would expect something like perhaps a bit closer to the 500 km mark. 430 seems conservative, I would say. Perhaps actually it could do more, but you know, they went conservative with the figures. As the base model, so to speak, the Q6, the rear-wheel drive Q6, it doesn't have like adaptive dampers, it doesn't have air suspension, it has fixed sport suspension. So the ride is actually still pliant, but beneath that you can kind of feel that there's a firmness to it, just to accord you a bit more body control, so that the car doesn't, like, you know, feel like too boaty as you're going round corners. It's acceptable, it's comfortable enough, and again, we need to reiterate that after all, this isn't like a sporty SUV. Even if you do have that nice rear-wheel drive feeling that, you know, you get when you're going round corners, like you can put the nose in, tuck it in, like we'll try and find some of those. The Q6 e-tron comes with pedal shifters that let you control the regenerative braking level. So right now, there's nothing. That means if I lift off the accelerator, the car will just keep rolling. But if I click the minus pedal and the car starts to slow down, that's level 1. So I can click it again and we slow down even more, that's level 2. However, if let's say I need really a lot of engine braking, like maybe I'm like descending a ramp, or for whatever reason I just want to recover more energy, I actually don't tap the pedal shifters. I got to tap the gear lever, tap down once, and it goes to B mode, and that is like the strongest regen you can get. It's basically your one pedal drive at this rate. So the fun part about the Q6 is that this variant is rear-wheel drive, and as you can see, even if you're a little bit aggressive tucking into the corners, the car responds in quite a linear fashion. The balance feels nice. There's a good feel from the platform, which Audi calls PPE, Premium Platform Electric. That gives you a lot of confidence. Is the Audi Q6 a will buy, won't buy, or go try? For me, it is go try. I have my reservations about the range, which is what I mentioned earlier in this video. For an 83 kilowatt hour battery, the range figure quoted is very conservative at 430 kilometers. 430 kilometers, you know, if you look further down the price and segment spectrum, more mass market models, they are able to do way more than 430. Of course, they are not luxury cars, but regardless, that's where my reservation stems from. Again, 83 kilowatt hour battery, but the quoted range is only 430 kilometers. So currently, as we are filming this, the Q6 is retailing for 337,000 thereabouts. And for that price, another car I would look at, if I were in the market for this, another car I would look at would be the Polestar 4 long-range single motor. You have about the same power output, it's about 268 bhp. However, that brand has given that model a much more enormous battery. It's at 100 kilowatt hours. So the range, we're already at over 500. For someone like me, we get test cars, I probably would only need to charge the car maybe every 3 weeks. But again, this is like specific to myself. I know how much I drive week in, week out. Yeah, so with that, there's your food for thought. It's a great car, it's well made, that Audi quality is there, it's dynamic to drive, but the range has given me my reservations. That's all we have for you today. Hope you enjoyed the Audi Q6. Follow us on our YouTube, subscribe if you haven't done so, and follow us on TikTok as well at Sgcarmart. And guess what? We are also on Red Note, 小红书, 新加坡车市. I hope I got that right. Till then, ciao!